everybody, I'm very happy to announce that I'm starting a trigonometry series on my channel for grade 11s. You guys have been asking and I am listening. So this is the first example of our full grade 11 trigonometry syllabus that we will be covering on this channel. So in example 1, they have given us an expression. They are saying if 3 tan theta minus 4 is equal to 0 and theta is an element of 180 to 360. Now, we need to remember that whenever they're telling us this, we are working on the Cartesian plane. And when we have the Cartesian plane, 0 degrees is over here, 90 is there, 180 is over there, 270 is there, and then 360 is in the same place as 0. Now, when they are saying that this angle that we are going to be working with is between 180 and 360, it means that that angle has to be either in the third, remember this is quadrant 3, or the fourth quadrant. They are also asking us to determine the value of this expression, 25 sine squared theta minus 5 cos theta, with the aid of a diagram. That is important. That means we're going to have to draw a diagram and without the use of a calculator. Now, the only way for us to do this is if we take the expression that they gave us, 3 tan theta minus 4 equals 0, and we solve for tan theta. We make tan theta the subject. So we're going to take that negative 4 across, it becomes positive 4, or rather we are actually adding 4 on both sides of this equation, and then we are going to divide by 3 to get rid of that 3. Now, please note that I am not going to go as far as solving for theta, doing shift tan of 4 over 3 and getting an angle, because the only way in which I could do that is if I use a calculator. And they have stated very clearly that we are not allowed to use a calculator. So we are not allowed to calculate this angle. Instead, we are going to use this expression that we have found now, this expression for tan, we are going to use to draw a diagram, which is what they said we must do. Now, because they've told us that theta is between 180 and 360 over here, we know that our picture, our diagram that we're going to draw, our right angle triangle, is going to be either in quadrants 3 or 4. But we can't draw one in both of these quadrants. We need to figure out which one of the two we're going to work with. Now, we are going to use this highlighted information here to help us decide which quadrant to draw in. Notice that tan theta is a positive value, 4 over 3, positive 4 over 3. Now, if you know your cast diagram, which hopefully you do, then you know that tan is positive in 2 quadrants. Tan is positive in quadrant 1, all the trig ratios are positive there, but then it is also positive in quadrant 3. So since our angle has to be between 180 and 360, and it has to be in a quadrant where tan is positive, we are going to have to draw a triangle in the third quadrant. I'm just going to add here that this happens in quadrant 1 and quadrant 3. So which quadrant satisfies both of these conditions? Quadrant 3 is the only one that satisfies both conditions. So we are going to draw a diagram in the third quadrant. Now, you would obviously use a ruler when you are drawing this diagram. Notice that I'm making my other quadrant smaller because I don't actually need a lot of space there, because I'm not going to draw anything in there. We are going to draw a right angle triangle in the third quadrant. It's important to show that that is a right angle triangle, because we can only use trig ratios in right angle triangles. And now, guys, remember they said the angle must be between 180 and 360. So we're going to start at 0 and we are going to draw the angle all the way around. And that is actually my angle, my theta angle. Now, I'm just going to write it again on the side here. Remember, we solved for tan theta and we saw that tan theta is 4 over 3. Now, remember, guys, that tan, the definition of tan, is opposite over adjacent. So on this triangle, we have an opposite side, which is going to be this side. And we have an adjacent side, which is going to be this, which is going to be this side. So they have effectively given us the lengths of the opposite and the adjacent side of this triangle. So I'm going to put a 4 there, and I'm going to put a 3 there. Opposite is 4 and the adjacent is 3. But now what's very important here is that both of these sides actually have to be negative, because this pink side is on the negative side of the y-axis, and this green side is on the negative side of the x-axis. So yes, absolutely, the lengths of these sides are positive 3 and positive 4, but because of this triangle lying in the third quadrant, the values on the sides in the Cartesian plane have to be negative 3 and negative 4. That is very important. And you will see that if on this side I'm using negative 4 over negative 3, it still simplifies to positive 4 over 3. So using both of, or making both of those values negative doesn't actually change the value of tan. But they have to be negative again because they are lying on the negative side of the y-axis and the negative side of the x-axis. All right, we have now drawn our triangle, but we still need to do some calculations because we don't know what the length of the hypotenuse is. Now, you can name this anything. I'm going to make it h for hypotenuse, and I am going to use Pythagoras. Now, guys, you can either use negative 3 squared and negative 4 squared. Remember to write your reason, Pythagoras. You are not allowed to round or to abbreviate it, round it off. You're not allowed to abbreviate it. Or you can just write 3 squared plus 4 squared. You will get the same answer. It really doesn't matter because you're squaring these numbers. So it will be positive anyway. This is 25. So now h is going to be 5 units. The nice thing about calculating the hypotenuse is that this one is always going to be positive. So you never have to worry about whether you're going to put a plus or minus in front of that side. So that's the second thing that we need to do. First thing that we need to do is we need to draw our triangle using the information that was given. The first thing that we need to do is that we need to draw our triangle using the given information. The fact that they also told us that it must be between 180 and 360. Then we use the given information and we put that on the picture, and we then use that to calculate the third side of the triangle. Now, finally, we are ready to calculate what they have asked us to calculate. So 25 sine squared theta minus 5 cos theta. And now we are going to use the values on this triangle. So 25 sine squared, let's see, what is sine? If this is our angle, theta, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So we're going to use negative 4 over 5 squared. Remember that squared, it was sine squared, minus 5 times cos theta. Again, if this is my angle, cos is adjacent over hypotenuse, so negative 3 over 5. And now we need to work this out. Now I am firstly just going to square what is in these brackets. It's 16 over 25 minus, now what's nice here, guys, is that these 5s are going to cancel each other out. And in fact, we have a negative times a negative. So let me change this minus to a plus. I'm left with 3 over there. In the first line, or the first term rather, we have those two 25s that are going to cancel out. So I'm left with 16 plus 3. So my final answer is 19. Right, that was quite a long example. I hope that you guys found that helpful. Let me know if you would like more trig videos, and please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe if you have not already.